Good morning, what is up? Welcome to the channel and happy Wednesday. I am just over 3.5 weeks post egg retrieval. This upcoming Friday will mark 4 weeks, which is absolutely insane. I can't believe this month just flew by. I feel like it was such a blur. Like, I feel like I had my egg retrieval like last week, but I am very excited. It is finally April, and today I actually have my follow-up appointment with my IVF doctor to talk next steps and transfer phase and all of the really good stuff. Very obviously the most exciting part of this whole journey. I just had my beef bone broth and I read for about 30 minutes. Now I'm gonna put myself a little bit together because I'm looking pale, my hair's a bit crazy, so I'm gonna get ready for my appointment right now. My appointment is actually virtual. It's gonna be like on a Zoom call. She already sent us the link, so I'm just dressing very casual and comfy because I'm gonna be at home. I've shown you guys this in another vlog, but I got this 2-piece set from Shein. It is like a Skims dupe and it's actually so good. The quality is amazing. So the pants are like a little bit of flare at the bottom, and then it has like the roll over waistband. I got it in this dark navy blue color, and then it just comes with a long sleeve. It has a really good amount of stretch to it and it's not too thin, so it's like really perfect for this time of year. It's honestly so comfy. I'm probably gonna get it in more colors. Can't remember if I mentioned, but my appointment is at 10 a.m. and it is 9:46 right now, so I have just under 15 minutes to quickly get ready. Honestly, because the appointment is at home and just in general, I don't wear makeup that often, but I do need to record some content for brand deals after my appointment, so that's why I'm gonna quickly get ready, put some makeup on, and I'm gonna try and curl my hair. Like I said, I am actually blown away over the fact that we are a month past egg retrieval. When they say time flies, they do not lie. Before we started like the stims and the egg retrieval, we obviously had a conversation with our doctor and we said we were gonna do a frozen embryo transfer. So we knew that we were gonna be waiting like a month and a half, basically until my first natural cycle after my egg retrieval. So if you guys remember, I did get my period 5 days after my retrieval, and I was expected to get it around 7 to 10 days after. That period is basically like a forced period because of the egg retrieval, because you're done this medication. So that cycle didn't count. I'm honestly not very familiar with fresh transfers, so like, do people that get fresh transfers, do they still get their period after the retrieval, or do they take medicine to suppress it more? I'm not sure. From my understanding, I thought you did a fresh transfer like 3 or 5 days after your retrieval. I could be wrong. Again, I'm not very knowledgeable in this area. So we were expecting, based off what the doctor said, that we would be doing our frozen embryo transfer this month, which is now finally April. In today's appointment, we are going to be obviously talking about that. We're going to be confirming that, and I hope that she's gonna say that we are doing it this month. I honestly feel like I'm gonna be super disappointed if she says we're gonna wait like another cycle and do it in May. There is so much waiting around when it comes to IVF, and just like time doesn't feel real. And I know I've talked about this before, but like when you want something so badly, waiting so long and like having such a long process is definitely frustrating when there's like people who are getting pregnant on the first month of them trying. And obviously not to compare because everyone's situation is different. I'm just saying it's like very frustrating, obviously. I believe at this appointment she's also gonna tell us like if we're gonna be doing a medicated frozen embryo transfer, if we're gonna be doing natural, modified natural. These things I'm not like too familiar with, because when I was consuming content beforehand trying to like educate myself, a lot of it was just mainly about the stims and the retrieval because I didn't want to get super overwhelmed. Just gonna put some setting spray. I just did my mascara and honestly I misjudged my time. It's 9:55 right now and I don't want to be late for the virtual appointment. I still need to go get my charger and set my laptop up, and then I need to sign into like this like website app that they use. It's almost like Zoom, but it's something different. It's like for the fertility clinic, I guess. I don't know. And I have to make sure like the video's working and that the audio's working and all of that. So I'll just curl my hair after the appointment. I'm honestly feeling so nervous. I don't know why, but like I have a pit in my stomach. I think I'm just also very excited about what our doctor's gonna say because we haven't talked to her specifically since everything. Like I wonder what she's gonna say about our embryos and just all of it.
slowly get started.
Okay.
And hopefully that'll give Alan a minute or two to log on.
Okay.
Can you tell me which medications you're currently taking?
Supplements, I'm taking my Bird and Brie prenatals, and it has the CoQ10 boost. I was thinking about possibly adding in omega-3.
Yep, might as well.
Okay.
And are you taking vitamin D as well?
I'm not sure if it's in the prenatals. I might have to double check.
The amount that I recommend is 1,000 to 2,000 units a day.
To 2,000 units, okay.
But all the other stuff you're taking sounds good to me.
Okay.
Well, looking at how your cycle went, things had a very good outcome. How are you doing physically since the retrieval?
Pretty good. I think the first week was definitely a little bit hard. I had like a lot of discomfort in my abdomen, but as soon as I got my period, I got it 5 days post egg retrieval. I felt, other than like period symptoms, I felt good otherwise. Like I could tell all the discomfort and everything was going down.
So in terms of kind of the two approaches, do you feel like you'd be more inclined to do one or the other?
I mean, I think obviously maybe like just my mindset is the less amount of medication possible, the better. But also at the same time,
I agree. I would actually recommend the ovulatory.
Yeah, okay.
That's because your first attempt at embryo transfer, I would go as natural as possible.
Okay.
As far as the other aspect we talk about is there's a procedure that we can do to the embryos, and we recommend doing this. It's called assisted hatching.
Okay.
When an embryo grows, it actually, the easiest way to think about it is that it has a little shell around it. And this shell, when it freezes, becomes harder and firmer. And the embryo, the natural growth, it actually has to be able to hatch out of this shell. Mm-hmm. So the freezing process makes it a bit harder to hatch out. So what we do is we use a laser to make a little bit of a weakening, a thinner area in the shell, so that it's easier for it to hatch out.
Okay.
What if twins run in her family?
Well, when twins run in your family, usually it means that people might have a history of ovulating 2 eggs. Mm-hmm. So we're still going to only put a single embryo. This is a different type of twin. It'd be that one broke into 2.
Yeah.
So this would be identical twins. And
yeah, my dad's a fraternal twin, so we always said like, oh my gosh, imagine that happened for us.
Yeah, that would be something else.
Well, that was not what I was expecting. And I'm definitely gonna cry, but I need to call Alan first. I hate to like be the person that cries on camera, because I know people are always like, oh, like you record yourself crying, but like this is just like the reality of this journey. It's so hard. I just feel like super disappointed in the conversation. So basically, they're really impressed with our numbers, how many embryos we got, how many eggs we got, and all of that. They said because my cycle's so regular and like all of my tests and stuff are always really good, that they want to do a natural cycle. So like pretty much no medication whatsoever. Like a lot of people do modified natural cycles, which is like they take like, I think it's called FSH injections, but she said like I wouldn't even need that. Like she said maybe the only thing I would need is to do a trigger shot if they want to speed up my ovulation, because I usually ovulate a little bit later in my cycle, since my cycles are like 30-31 days. But basically they would do the transfer 5 to 6 days after I naturally ovulate. And the doctor said because I got so many eggs and my ovaries were so swollen, she thinks that I should wait another month, which means we wouldn't be doing the transfer in April, which is what I assumed. Like I told her I feel really good, and I told her like, can we do an ultrasound to like, so that you guys can see the size of my ovaries? Because if they're good and they're back to normal, like why would I wait another month? I'm just like really frustrated because like this process is so long. Sorry, I'm just like venting. It's like really frustrating, and I know like if my body needs it, it's better. And she said like the outcome could be better, obviously, because I'm giving my body more rest. But it's like, I'm just frustrated and I'm disappointed. She also mentioned that our funded cycle is for a May transfer, which she never ever mentioned to us, so I'm also frustrated about that. So she said she's gonna put in like a request if there's a cancellation in April, they'll call me and then we'll do the ultrasound to see, and then we'll start monitoring as soon as my April cycle. But I just feel like the way she was talking, that's not gonna happen. So yeah, I just need to like take this in, I think, and grieve it a little bit, and probably just go and cry, honestly. Oh my god, excuse me. I actually just got out of acupuncture. That's why I'm a little bit tired, because I did fall asleep during my treatment. Now, you guys know this is a weekly thing for me. I have been doing acupuncture since November, so I'm almost going on 6 months. Of course, a lot of the focus has been to prep my body for IVF, to help with the egg quality and all of that stuff. And the past couple of weeks since my egg retrieval, we have also been doing fertility stuff, but today we took a break from it and we did a back treatment. I know I mentioned it probably once before, but I have a lot of like lower back issues. I don't know why, other than the fact that I think it's because I sit a lot, but like I also walk a lot, and obviously I exercise a lot, but for my job I do a lot of sitting. So for my business, I do a lot of sitting at a computer because I'm doing admin, bookkeeping, scheduling, payroll, like everything is on my computer, so I'm always sitting for that. And then when it comes to my other job, which is this, social media, a lot of the time I'm sitting, not necessarily when I'm vlogging, although right now I'm vlogging and I'm sitting, but when I'm editing, which is what takes up most of my time, I do a lot of sitting. I really think that is my reason for the low back pain. I won't be going back next week because my acupuncturist is actually going to Mexico for the week, but after that we're gonna go back to the fertility acupuncture sessions. It's obviously been 1 day since yesterday when we had the appointment, and I've let the information simmer a little bit. I definitely am still upset and disappointed, and I just overall feel lied to by my clinic. I don't know how else to describe it, and I just like felt really hurt that that it felt like my doctor was almost blaming my body. But you know, when I brought up, you know, doing an ultrasound to see how my ovaries are looking, she was like, well, no, like we're gonna do it in May regardless. So I was like, okay. But I really praise my husband. Like, he is such an angel. He is so good, like supporting me and talking to me about these things. He's definitely the more positive one out of both of us. He's just been saying like, you know what, they know what they're talking about. If you need an extra month, like what is one more month? Like, I want your body to be good and I want you to be 100%. And he is right, it's fine, but I just feel like I still need a couple of days to like really process it. Anyways, now that I'm done acupuncture, I have some free time, so I do need to go to Life Labs. They mentioned yesterday they want me to update my TSH, which is the thyroid stimulating hormone, I believe. So I just pulled up to Life Labs, literally right around the corner from my acupuncturist's house. I don't have an appointment, so hopefully it's not too busy, but let's go in and get this over with. So it has actually been about a week since I last picked up the camera for this vlog. I got really busy with work and just other things going on. I got my blood work done. Everything went well as far as I know. They didn't call me, and usually they say if they do call, it's because they saw or found something, and if they don't call, then I can just carry on as normal and everything's good. I will say I'm feeling a lot better, but specifically, I think just like overall, I'm starting to feel a little bit emotional again, and today marks cycle day 31, so I think my period is coming any day now, and that's just making me, one, sad because I usually PMS a little bit and cry before I get my period, but two, it's starting to hit me now that I'm realizing, okay, my period's gonna be here any day, that this cycle is not gonna be the transfer cycle. So I was definitely in a good mindset, and now I'm like, I'm like feeling upset again. I did start editing this video, and there were some things that I feel like I didn't address or like talk about my feelings that I do want to share. And I think it's honestly just because my brain was like such in a blur. Like, I was so upset, I was so disappointed, I couldn't even like process what I was feeling in that moment. But now that I've sat on it for about a week, there's a few other things I wanted to touch on that I haven't already said in the video. I wrote it down in my notes just so I don't miss anything, because I will be ending this vlog after this. One thing I was upset about with myself actually when I was editing this video so far is that I said that we assumed our transfer would be April, but that's actually not true. I said assumed, I don't know why, but it was not an assumption. We were told by my doctor that it was happening. this cycle. So when I was editing, I was like, why did I say assumed? Because I don't want you guys to feel like I had actually assumed it. No, like that's what they actually told us. So I kind of just wanted to clarify that. The other thing is, I briefly said it, but like I really feel upset that my doctor was kind of using my body as an excuse as to why we can't do this transfer in April. But then when I asked for the ultrasound, she was like, well, no, it's gonna still be May. So to me, I was thinking, and even I'm still feeling this way, like, okay, so it's not necessarily my body, because if it was my body, you would just do an ultrasound and you would confirm that yes or no. It's obviously like a scheduling issue with my fertility clinic, and I just feel like she was using me and my body like needing more time to recover as an excuse almost. And again, I would 100% be okay if that was true. If they did an ultrasound and said, look, your ovaries still look a little bit swollen, I really think you should wait, then I would say okay. But it's just for me, the unknown, because they're not doing that, that's making me really frustrated. And I guess the other thing I forgot to mention is, but at the beginning of our appointment, we were speaking with the resident doctor and she asked us like, when do you guys want to do the transfer? And then when my IVF doctor joined the call, she also asked, when do you guys want to do the transfer? So in my mind, like they had already decided it was going to be May. Why are you asking me when I want to do it then? I also thought that was weird because like, why would you be asking when we already talked about it prior? But then I was thinking, okay, maybe they're just asking as like a courtesy. I guess this is just me venting, but I did want to relay that to you guys before I close out this video. The other thing is I kept the assisted hatching part of the conversation of our appointment in so that you guys could hear what the resident doctor was saying. A lot of the other conversation I did cut out, obviously just for like personal reasons, but she was explaining the assisted hatching because we had to give consent if we wanted to use it or not. So you guys heard what it was. Now, what I didn't include was the pros or the cons. So the pros to assisted hatching is it increases pregnancy rate, and the other pro is there's no additional fee or cost for it. And the con, which in my mind I don't necessarily think it's a con, but I can understand why a fertility clinic would classify it as a con, but the con, she said, is that there's slightly higher risk of twins. I guess the risk increases by like 3 to 5% than like normal. The other con, she said there's a theoretical risk of damaging the embryo, but she did assure me that they do this very regularly. They even recommend it, obviously, as you guys heard, and they've never had issues with it before. So we opted to do the assisted hatching. I didn't really know what it was before. I briefly knew about it from like one of our IVF teaching classes. I guess I'm just gonna take care of myself for the next month, keep myself busy. In another vlog, I'm gonna tell you guys like what I'm doing to prep for transfer, what I'm gonna eat for transfer, and if there's anything else you guys want to see, just let me know. If you're also doing a May transfer, let me know in the comments. We're gonna be transfer twins or transfer buddies. That will make me feel a little bit better as well. Otherwise, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to subscribe to me down below and give this a big thumbs up, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye.